Okay, so now we will start. So the goal of today is really to introduce you what is EIT Urban Mobility, this European network that fosters innovation in the area of mobility. Also introduce you EIT Urban Mobility in Portugal. What are the three partners doing, the results so far, and what we have planned for this year in case you want in some way to collaborate with us. And then we are also going to introduce you these calls for innovation. So these fundings available for all the entities who want to have a project supported and financed by EIT Urban Mobility. This way, our agenda for today will be this one. So we will start with a presentation of what is EIT Urban Mobility, followed by a presentation about EIT Urban Mobility Portugal Hub. Then we will have a general information on the calls for proposals 2023, where we are going to present you the funding, what types of partners can apply to these calls, what type of calls are available, and then we will go into the specific areas that are being funded by EIT Urban Mobility: future mobility, active mobility, sustainable city logistics, and mobility and energy. In each one of the areas, we are going to let you know the call-specific requirements, and we will also have some small time for Q&A, and then we will have closing session. So with no further ado, I will pass to our other hub partners, IASA, Jorge Silva, that is going to present you what is EIT Urban Mobility. So Jorge, I will stop sharing my screen and the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to share my presentation. I suppose that you are now, you can see, just a moment. I suppose that now you can see my presentation. My name is Jorge Silva. I welcome everybody. Good morning to all. I'm Jorge Silva, and I'm here representing the Institute of Advanced Studies and Awareness, IASA, which is one of the three partners of EIT Portugal Hub. Well, my mission is to make a brief introduction to EIT Urban Mobility, and I'm going to start my presentation saying some words about EIT. The EIT is the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, and the aim is to promote innovation across Europe through the integration of business, education, and research to find solutions to global problems. Well, the EIT wants to join together these three parts, three corners of the triangle, which are the education, one, the research, and the business. Well, making a smooth and a very productive integration among all of these these partners. So this partnership are called the innovation communities. Each is dedicated to find solutions to global challenge, well, from climate change, sustainable energy, healthy food, and to urban mobility, a wide range of solutions that we may find together. So the EIT is the largest European innovation network, brings together nearly more than 2,000 partners, and we can see in this diagram that we have the EIT climate, digital, food, raw materials, energy, health, manufacturing, and the last but not the least, the EIT Urban Mobility. So the EIT wants to encourage the transformation of the best ideas into products, service, and of course, jobs. So this is the EIT community at a glance, with the more than 2,000 leading partners, an investment very interesting all over Europe, some ventures, supporting some ventures. Also, we have more than 60 innovation hubs across Europe. New products developed under this scope are quite more than 1,000 200, and also we have programs, degree programs, graduates, and so on within the university. So we have IIT has a large scope of innovation and technology. So the IIT Urban Mobility itself, well, it exists since 2019 and works mainly to encourage positive changes in the way people move between and within cities. And what are the target? Well, to improve the experience of urban spaces. And it has co-funding 400 million from the IT between 2020 and 2026, and of course to make this mission possible. So the mission and vision of the IT Urban Mobility is based on the three big pillars or main pillars: the living laboratories, the innovation and transformation, and foster and better experience of cities. The idea of living laboratories is to demonstrate the applicability of new technologies in solving real city problems, transporting people and goods in smart ways. It's not necessary to create new solutions, but to shift from some cities that has already implemented some kind of technology, some kind of solution to solve real problems, to other cities that needs those solutions where they can be applied. So foster innovation and transformation is to improve the quality of life, also to reduce carbon emissions and to make European economy competitive, of course. So the objective is to inspire, as I said, fostering better experience of cities and encouraging the involvement of everyone in a joint work, cities and citizens, because if citizens are inside the cities, it's not possible to get solutions or to find solutions for cities that are not in bearing what the citizens needs. So the approach is very curious because the IT urban mobility joined together building capacities in the scope of the academy, also to providing the impact in factories, delivering solutions as business creation, and also creating options, which means the innovation. So this is what this scheme shows. What are the most important challenge? They are mainly 8 challenge. For example, challenge 1 is achieving sustainable urban growth. The challenge 2 is the congestion of our transport networks, and so on, till the challenge 8, which is the urban governance. So it's necessary, well, the IIT promote join together all these entities so that we can achieve the best results, or the most suitable, or the best solutions, or as we want, the most suitable solutions to solve real problems. The EIT Urban Mobility Map, we can, well, we have, well, they point some solutions to complex problems, call for an integrated approach. The city club or the city itself is this is like a rail network or a tram network. So join the business creation, the factory, the innovation in the academy. Just to see what this means in a few words, in a glance. The City Club, well, is a collaboration platform for cities. Each year, the club produces a list of the main challenge facing cities to guide innovation projects. And these projects are an integral part of the IT's innovation education and industry programs. Well, and the cities does function as living laboratories to test innovative urban mobility solutions. Of course, it's necessary to identify barriers. It's necessary to identify the problems for that are most challenging facing the mobility inside the urban area. But of course, they act as a living laboratories to test innovative urban mobility solutions. And so the club serves also an amplifying of the voice of the cities and member cities. Well, the main purpose is in all the projects that are promoted by the EIT Urban Mobility, the aim is to engage all citizens, the most younger, most older, the most the students, the workers, and so on. What about the Academy? Well, the Academy is a collaborative arena for lifelong learning, helping to build critical capabilities for innovation and transformation. As the Academy is one of, well, is by excellency a place for research, for innovation. So the IT joined together in this virtuous triangle, joined together the Academy because it's perhaps one of the best places to experiment or to try or to research the innovation. The programs are intersectorial, the interdisciplinary, international, and entrepreneurial. So which means that in the Academy, the EIT Urban Mobility also promotes some degree courses or some master courses also, and also some PhD courses. The innovation, well, from initiative ideas to real life applications, it's the main purpose of the EIT Urban Mobility. The innovation program aims to resolve urban mobility challenges facing European cities, as I said, and the program develops partnership across and beyond Europe and address regulatory and behavioral changes needed to improve urban life quality for all citizens. The business creation, last but not least, well, the business creation funding, a hot network leads for startups and scale-ups. So business creation aims to become one reference in the market for supporting and funding gender-balanced startups within urban mobility, which is one of the most interesting parts of the EIT Urban Mobility to promote this business creation. So let me reword just to say that this is a very interesting connection between well, the business creation, the factory, the innovation in the academy, so that the most suitable solutions must be implemented on the cities that needs this kind of innovation. So for now, it's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George, for your presentation. You will also receive not only the recording, but as well the presentations of all the speakers. So in case you then want to reach out to one of the partners regarding each topic of this event, please feel free to do so. I will now present you the EIT Urban Mobility Hub in Portugal. So now that you understand more or less what is EIT, we are going to present you what is EIT Urban Mobility in Portugal, the activities we have been conducting, the results we got so far, and as well our planned activities for this year. So in the hub in Portugal, we have, it is composed by 3 partners. So each partner represents one of the sides of this triangle presented by George, and is responsible for an area of the hub of the implementation of activities inside Portugal. We have here BGI, that is the hub coordinators, and is also responsible for all the activities regarding business creation and communication. Just to also define what is business creation, it's all the activities that are related with startups, entrepreneurship, creating your ideas, scaling up. So all these activities related more to creation of new companies. Then we also have IASA, the Institute for Advanced Studies and Awareness, that is more related with academia. And here I'm going to show you the activities proposed, but it's everything related with knowing more, with taking a course with the EIT Urban Mobility or one of the partners, so a lot of transfer of knowledge. And then we also have Thales, this multinational technology company that is more related with innovation and local community building. So it's much more on technology per se or creating pilots. And this is the hub that has been representing EIT Urban Mobility in Portugal since 2020, and it's going to present for the future across not only all the activities from EIT Urban Mobility, but also act as a legal contact point for EIT Urban Mobility in Portugal to support you in all your activities and also everything that you need from the hub, and we can help you. To give you an understanding of what we do in Portugal and how can we help you, I'm going to present you the results so far. We have here the activities we conducted in 2021, just for you to have an idea of what can you be collaborating with us. But this is just the examples of things we've done. Of course, we can create new things with you and support you in different things that you have these needs. So we conduct a lot of engagement and communication activities. For example, the map of local ecosystem events, and also creating meetings with relevant stakeholders in the area of urban mobility, for example, cities, chambers of commerce. So all the entities that in some way want to collaborate with the EIT Urban Mobility, we conduct meetings to support you in understand how can this network deliver the best value and what will be the expectations for you to be inside the network, what can you get, and how can you take the most value out of it. We also have business creation activities. So these activities are more directed to startups. And last year we had a partnership with Portugal Smart Cities, where we had 5 startups being supported by the hub with everything paid to attend these events. And this is only one of the startup activities that we do, but our goal is always to partner up with institutions that really support startups in scaling up. We also have a lot of communication and events. Last year, we organized 2 online awareness events. One of them is exactly this one. So it was about the Calls 2022 info webinar. And we also organized a final event in the end of the year where we show all the results that we have so far. But we also disseminate all the EIT Urban Mobility opportunities and activities through the partners networks, and also have a relevant database of everyone that wants to in somehow collaborate with the hub and get in contact with us. And last but not least, we also conducted several academia activities, one entrepreneurship course to students, dissemination of education activities in the network, and information about the academy programs that were presented previously. And we also organized 5 thematic workshops in partnership with a core partner of the EIT Urban Mobility in Portugal, University of Lisbon, of urban mobility management, urban mobility simulation with analogic, integration of unmanned area vehicles in urban logistics, and as well data analysis methods and analysis of urban mobility systems. So these were the 5 courses taught last year. I can tell you that this year I'm going to present you, we have already 12 courses being developed, applications are open, so we also invite you to participate in all of them. And with that, I will present you the activities we have planned for this year as well. So in terms of startups, we launched yesterday Getting the Ring. That is going to be a competition focused on smart mobility in partnership with Vodafone Portugal and City of Lisbon. And the application just started, and there's a prize of 20K for the winning startup, and the final competition is going to be in May. So all of you are also going to receive this invitation in case you want to attend as a startup and participate, win the final prize, or you just want to come for network with startups, investors, and industry stakeholders. We are also going to have several communication events. One stakeholder event, it's the one that we are having today, one online awareness for business creation and academia, one face-to-face event for business creation programs, and 4 webinars for startups and academia. And the main goal of this event is always to share with you not only the updates of the hub in Portugal, but as well all the opportunities inside the EIT Urban Mobility Network and how can you take most advantage of. And in terms of academia activities, we are doing one entrepreneurship course to students, of course, the dissemination of all the opportunities we have inside urban mobility. And this year we are having 8 thematic workshops, also with the University of Lisbon. We are going to send you this link of these workshops that are open now, and you can. Let's say it's a workshop. It's workshops for you to get the first introduction to EIT Urban Mobility, work on that, understand the consequences and benefits that a good management of urban mobility can have, and how can you explore more connections inside this world. And this was my presentation for the hub. So it's a very short presentation, but we are going to share everything with you. In case you want to collaborate with any of these activities, please reach out to us. We are here, and it is our role really to support on this, and we are eager to create this network of urban mobility in Portugal. And now I'm going to present you now we are going to pass for the reason why you're all here. So the call for proposal 2023. To let you know, we are going to have a small presentation, and then you can ask questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it on the chat. And in the end of each presentation, we will go to the questions. Some things might be a lot specific, but to tell you that after this webinar, the hub is also available to support you on any applications or proposals you may have, any questions you may have. So even if we don't discuss everything today, we will have time to support you after this webinar. So now I'll go through the general information of the calls for proposals 2023, where we are going to discuss the aim of the call, strategic focus and objective, type and eligibility of applicants, general requirements, funding, proposal submission, evaluation process, support, documentation. So we are going to go over all these topics. So the first one, where is the vision and mission here for this call? So improve quality of life in cities. Cities are the central role of all the EIT urban mobility activities. The goal is always to improve quality of life in cities by a collaboration of different stakeholders that can contribute in different ways, different perspectives to this. Also, mitigation of climate change. So we always have this mission behind all the activities of contributing to the mitigation or adaptation of climate change action, and as well creation of jobs and strengthening the European urban mobility sector. So all the proposals that are going to be accepted will take into consideration these 3 main aspects, and your project should contribute to this vision. We also have as well the strategic objectives of the EIT Urban Mobility. They are part of their business plan until 2027. So you have here create livable urban spaces, close knowledge gap, deploy and scale green, safe and inclusive mobility solutions, accelerate market opportunities, and promote effective policies and behavioral change. So all the activities, all the proposals are going to be evaluated on how much they contribute to at least one of the strategic objectives. So you should, when you're preparing your proposal, you should take in consideration these strategic goals in order to have a high evaluation, and for them to also measure the impact you can have on the EIT Urban Mobility objectives. Type of and eligibility of applicants. So these calls are open to all organizations from member states of the European Union and as well Horizon Europe associated countries. So all of you that are part of these countries, you can apply, and you need to have a minimum of 2 applicants from 2 different countries in your consortium. So you should have at least 1 different country from yours that is part of the European Union or the Horizon Europe associated countries. We will show you what type of entities you can request for your consortium, what will be better according to the area that you're applying. But we will also like to tell you that right now you can apply to all the calls without being a partner. So each entity that never collaborated with the EIT Urban Mobility can apply and receive funding for this activity. However, if your proposal is selected, you will have to become a partner of the EIT Urban Mobility, okay? And why is this? Because our goal is not only to have different projects being funded all over Europe, but to actually have a network of partners that are creating consistent activities connected to each other, and that creates this partners network. So all the partners that are accepted will have to choose one of these categories of partnerships. We will also send you all the information about it. So the gold partners have an annual fee of 30K and have full access to benefit packages. So you will see that on the benefit packages you have on the gold partners access to all the funding in terms of you can propose proposals for all the funding available. You can have a seat on the EIT Urban Mobility meetings. You can have meetings with them to support you on how can you improve urban mobility inside your region. So you have a lot of benefits. Then you have silver partners that you have to pay an annual fee of 10K to your urban mobility, and you have limited access to all benefit packages. Here you will have more constrictions in terms of how many projects you can apply for, how many funding you can receive for the year, okay? And then specific for cities, we have a category because they are the core central part of our organization. That is an annual fee of 10K, and they have the full access to the gold membership package and the additional city-specific services. So our goal is really to engage more cities to be on our network. So cities will have the same benefits as the gold partners that pay 30K, but will pay only 10K. And we'll have the possibility of proposing to all the funding calls, exclusive events, seats with the EIT Urban Mobility. So you'll have all these benefits with you. We are also going to send you a brochure that has the specifics of each membership category, so you can evaluate while you're doing your proposal. But to tell you that each member of the consortium that wins this proposal will have to become a partner in 2023. So now for the calls, specific requirements. This year, the calls are open from 2023 to 2025. Here, when you're doing your proposal, you can select if you want your proposal to be 1 year's duration or 3 years duration, okay? And there are 4 challenges that will be funded that we are actually going to then explain you in more detail. Active mobility, sustainable city logistics, future mobility, and mobility and energy. And here, there are 2 types of projects inside these areas that are being funded by the EIT Urban Mobility that I'm going to present you. So on type 1, you can get per funding between 300K to 800K per year, okay? So you can receive a bigger amount of budget, and here we are expecting proposals a bit bigger. Considering on type 2, you only receive up to 300K. Okay, so here is a smaller activity. In terms of consortium, on type 1, you have 2 cities or affiliated entities. Affiliated entities is what we consider companies that are owned in large part by a city or have the majority of their core activities with the city. So even if you're not a city, you count as affiliated entity here. And as well, 2 industry stakeholders, it could also be SMEs. So you need for project 1 from 300 to 800K, a minimum total of 4 applicants. For type 2, you only need 2 cities or affiliated entities and 1 industry stakeholder. So you only need 3 applicants. In terms of technology readiness level, on type 1, you need 6 and above, and you should prove if you are in this technology readiness level, and on type 2, you have 7 and above. In terms of KPIs, we are going to show you a bit more specifically after, but you have here the minimum of 2 commercially KPIs on type 1, that's market innovations being launched in a market, and as well a startup being created. And on type 2, you have 1 market innovation that should be launched in the market. In terms of duration, on type 1, you need to have at least 12 months to 18 months. You can choose between this range, what do you want for your duration to be. And on type 2, you have 6 to 12 months of duration. In terms of co-funding, you should provide 32% of co-funding of the project, but from everyone that is from Portugal, you need at least 20% of co-funding, but I'm going to explain in the further time. And then lead applicant, this is exactly the same for both projects. The lead applicant must be an organization, university within a member state of a European Union or your rights in European associate countries. And pretty much this call is open to all academia, public sector, industry, research, NGO, and SMEs organizations from these countries. So you have here a comparison of both projects that you can apply and the specific conditions for each one of them. In terms of funding, so here I'm going to explain you. So in terms of main countries, that is the big countries of European Union, you have to provide 32% of funding. For everyone that comes from Portugal, you will have to present 20% of co-funding. And you have here where is the maximum budget allocated to each one of these areas. So active mobility is 1 million, future digital, it is 2 million, sustainable city logistics, 2 million as well, and also mobility and energy. You also have an indicative number of granted proposals. So you see here what should be the range of budget inside your proposal. So you should be more or less pointing to these values. So you have a good punctuation then on the evaluation. In terms of proposal submission, all the proposals are being submitted on Plaza. That is a tool used by EIT Urban Mobility to manage the grant cycle at the application stage. This is a platform that everyone can register, and you will have also guidelines on how to insert your proposal there. The documents to be submitted is only the application form, and the deadline for submissions is 28th of April 2022. So here you also have the calendar. So after you are selected, after you do the proposal, the selection will only come in July 2022, and the activity will only start in January 2023. In terms of the evaluation of proposals, these are the criteria that we have. So the first one, it is contribution to strategic objectives and to the KPIs, that is 5 points. Fitting with one of the challenge areas, that is also 5 points, and also show potential of impact in these challenge areas, as well as 5 points. And then the criteria that is more relevant, let's say, to the evaluation: excellence, novelty, and innovation, that will count as 25 points. Impact in terms of social, economic, financial, general sustainability, that will count as 30 points, and as well implementation, that is planning and sound financial management, that will also count 30 points. In the documents we are going to show you, you will be able to see in each one of these big criteria the little ones that you should answer to. Okay, so you will help you guide your proposal according to this to the small criteria. And then the last slide that I had, this is the list of documents to consider for the call preparation. You will find here the call manual. Where you are going to have all this information that we are sharing today, much more detailed, as well the questions that have been asked by the partners, EIT Urban Mobility strategic agenda, the list of KPIs you should take consideration when doing your proposal, guidelines for applicants, eligibility of expenditures, appeal procedure, and as well the Right in Europe model grant agreement. And now and this was the end of my presentation. So I think I have here some questions. Okay, so I have here from Luis Vieira, but also please feel free to add more questions on the chat. We still have around 5 minutes, so if you have any questions, feel free. So we have here some questions regarding what is the in-kind co-funding and about membership. So in-kind co-funding, in terms of co-funding, I will move to the funding part. So in terms of funding, what is acceptable for funding? It is all the costs you may have that are not covered by EIT Urban Mobility. It could be in kind. It could also be, for example, human resources hours. It could be costs, direct costs that you're having with communication, services, products. So it could also be in kind in terms of services you provided. So in terms of co-funding, it's very open to each organization to define what could be the co-funding for you. Also, Rich is asking, is these fees can be part of the package of the funding? So the funding that you're receiving, it's as an eligible cost? No. So each project will have, let's say, the budget for itself, and it will be the package of budgets according to this contract. And outside of this, it is the fee of the membership that you will have to pay. So it should not be included in the budget of the proposal. It's something that is different and it's a different process, let's say. The contract of the proposal will have their own budget. And then besides that, each entity will have different packages of fees that it's going to have to pay. But of course, when you're doing your budget for proposal, you should already take this in consideration. Also, to answer George Mendoza, you will have access to all the recording and as well this PowerPoint. So everything is going to be shared with you. We have also questions from Arani, from Brixman, that they joined a 12th edition BTS Solution Program, but they have new editions for industries. How can we join EIT projects and how can we get more help from you? So we are going to send you, in terms of startups, we have all the programs already launched for this year. So we are going to send you as well. But if you see any kind of connection inside these areas, we are going to talk further on about future mobility and energy, and you want to collaborate with a proposal, the Hub can support you in preparing this proposal, and as well put you in contact with partners that we know they are developing proposals that can help you integrate their consortium. So everything is going to be, we are here really to make this bridge between you and other partners and also support you on your proposal. Which are the Portuguese cities that are already EIT partners? So I can tell you there's only one, Luis. This network is increasing. We got our first EIT partners, Portuguese city, last year. There was Braga. So if in case you want to collaborate with the city, you can also reach out to the city of Braga. But we have other cities that have collaborated with EIT Urban Mobility in Portugal. They are not partners yet, but they can come inside your proposal. So if you want to leverage the position of a city in your proposal, it doesn't have to be a EIT partner. It could be any cities that want to get in or want to be engaged in this proposal, but they don't have to be yet fully partners right now. Cities that have collaborated with the EIT Urban Mobility, we have City of Fundão, Cascais, Angra do Heroísmo, Abrantes, Lisbon, and I would say that these were the main ones collaborating with the Hub. I don't know if we have any more questions. Who should we contact in case we have more questions after reading all the documentation? First of all, you can contact us. Of course, we will help with everything that we can. And inside the guidelines, you will also have a contact point for Portugal, for the proposals coming from Portugal, and you can reach out and they will support you for everything. You will also find recordings from the previous webinars done by EIT Urban Mobility on these calls, answers that have been answered, questions that have been answered. So you will have this contact point in case your question is not being answered in one of these webinars or documents. And you can also reach out to the Hub in case you have any questions. Okay, and with this last question, I will pass now to our next presentation. So we present you very general guidelines for this proposal. Right now, we are going to enter in each one of the areas, challenge areas of the EIT Urban Mobility, really explain you what is the vision of these challenge areas and how can you apply to each one of them. The first one, it is future mobility, and it's going to be presented by our partner, Thales, João Mira. So João, the floor is yours.
Okay, good morning. Let me just share my screen. I think you are already seeing it.
Yes.
Good morning, all. We will now address the challenges. As Claudia explained, there are a few challenges that EIT proposes to be addressed. What is the intent of EIT? Is to apply innovation concepts, ideas, technologies to solve problems in European cities, to improve in general the living conditions in the cities, whatever this means, and it's very broad. The participation in projects is cooperative, and the ideas are co-created, aiming to address projects that will try to solve the challenges that EIT sends out. For 2023, for the period of 2023-2025, the main areas of challenge are active mobility, sustainable city logistics, future mobility, and mobility and energy. What does this mean? We will go into a little more detail about what is the objective defined by EIT for these challenge areas. I will focus on two: future mobility and sustainable city logistics. We'll have another one in the middle. So first, starting with future mobility, I opted, instead of just putting the main phrases, to put the full text, but highlighting what is relevant to look at. The challenge is the overall conceptual problem that EIT defines. In this problem, they describe what this big problem. They describe what are the major things that hinder that specific thing. In the case of mobility, well, the problem is that well, not a problem. It's a reality. The world is changing very fast. Technology is also changing very fast, and new services and new technologies are appearing, and they create some challenges to be applied, or to create solutions that use them to the benefit of the city. There are some enabling technologies that are coming up, some of them for some time, some very new, that enable to create solutions or technology-based solutions to deal with the city problems. One of them is just buzzwords. For the moment, they are buzzwords based on technology, and these are not the only ones. These are some that are highlighted, such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, 5G, or IoT. Everyone hears this every day. How can this be used to create new services, such as, for example, mobility as a service, shared micromobility, autonomous driving, or urban air mobility, which covers transportation of people or goods. The main objective is to improve the livability in the cities. What are some of the problems? There are technical challenges, how to adopt and who is willing to adopt new technologies. That sometimes it makes the changes are so huge that it's difficult to relate people to use the new technologies, but there are also administrative and legal conditions that may hinder the use or the application of technology. So these are some of the challenges, and don't stick to this. These are some highlights that are the most common, but this is not a law. What are the expected outcomes? This means what is EIT expecting out of the project? What will be the results, the measurable or at least visible results? The main result is to contribute to the city policy by proposing new measures or innovative measures. They need to be applied in one or more European cities, at least one. You should address business models or new services, and they should be tested and implemented. As Claudia said, there are some TRLs to target, depending on the type of project, and these TRLs are the reference that should be targeted. Another condition that should be in mind is whatever is proposed, it should be possible to replicate or to scale it. This means do it in another place under similar conditions, and it should work roughly, and it should be able to increase either in scope or volume or range, and it should also be possible to create seamless mobility services for the citizens. This means that for someone that it's, for example, moving from 2 points or more in the environments they live in, it should be hassle-free journeys without a lot of complication, a lot of tickets, changing to many media. So it should be as seamless as possible, and aiming to increase accessibility, reduce gas emissions, and have a better use of the urban space in general. How can this be done? Again, you don't need necessarily to respond to the topics that are referred here. These are examples, and it opens it's just to open a little the minds and to give some indication of how the problems could be addressed. But these are not the only ones. One of the examples of projects or scope for projects could be automated driving for the future vehicles, or for micro mobility services, public transportation, whatever. The use of artificial intelligence for the analysis of the information, and have a better management of mobility services and applications, brokerage services for local communities, take up demand responsive transport, or apply solutions that deal with demand responsive transportation. New models or preparation of the cities to be ready to deal with new models of micromobility services, real-time adaptive management solutions, enabling the authorities to have a better communication and use of information that it's around the cities, either given by the citizens themselves or by the stakeholders that use and move throughout the city. Adoption of polluter pays principles. That means that whoever pollutes less has benefits. I'm saying the contrary of what is written. It's the same thing described in a different manner. Provide mobility as a service solutions or application of mobility as a service like solutions, like new or innovative pricing and fair charging, and improve the concept to achieve a wider accessibility and a wider range of citizens. This means, for example, the students or young children don't have the same needs as older people or people with reduced mobility. So this is the kind of approaches that could be taken in a proposal covering future mobility. Again, these are not the only topics you need to address. These are just some hints of particular topics that could be addressed on the proposal, on the preparation of proposals. It will depend on the consortia and each partner to define how they see the problems and how they propose to solve them. And sorry, in relation to future mobility, it's this. I don't know if you have any questions or if we just cover the questions at the end.
So far, we don't have any question. I don't know if anyone has a specific question on this topic.
Either it was too clear or too complex.
There's someone here saying it is too complex, but you will visit this part with more concentration. So it's a lot of topics that we've been discussed, and that's why we are going to send you everything, because we understand that after you see these areas, you'll have to see if it fits your project there or not. So without any questions, we will move now to the second area, challenge area of this call, active mobility, presented by George from IASA. So George, the floor is yours. You're muted, George. We can see your presentation, but you're muted.
I'm so sorry.
No problem.
So I think now it's okay. So I'm going to present the other area, the active mobility. Well, it's a very interesting one, and you can find more information about this in the official document that you may consult. So there are, for the active mobility, there are some specific challenges. So active mobility is regular physical activity undertaken as a means of transport. So what I'm going to talk to you is some insights. These, well, you must complement, as somebody said previously. It's necessary to see and to read more careful the official documents. So in this active mobility, it includes travel by foot, bicycle, and other vehicles, which require physical efforts to get moving. This is very important because it does not include walking, cycling, or other physical activity that is undertaken for recreation purposes. So there are both individual and public health benefits of active mobility. First of all, through the direct impacts of physical activity, but there are also others indirectly through reduced air pollution and noise pollution if active mobility modes increase due to a shift from no active modes. And this is very important, and I would like to underline this. So active mobility modes include walking, cycling, pedal assisted e-bikes, quick scooter and skateboards, but not mopeds, electric bikes with no pedal assist, or electric scooters. So as well as the considerable health benefits, active mobility modes also provide benefits in terms of reducing the amount of space used, freeing up space in public transport, and reduce the more dangerous emissions, or the emissions, all of them are quite all dangerous. So because of the wide variety of benefits associated with active mobility, this means that many cities want to increase levels of active mobility. In some cases, high levels of active mobility require new solutions to support crowding or congestion of cycling infrastructure. Well, and even so, still ensure high quality of life and good use of public space. So, supporting modal shift to active mobility requires a range of different measures, not least the reallocation of space in urban areas to allow for safe solutions of this mode, but for travel and parking when required. So, the specific challenge is that there are, however, many barriers to achieving increased active mobility, not least that decades of car-centric planning have created organizational and cultural barriers to prioritize active mobility in many European cities. So this is a specific challenge. So this area, the active mobility, what are the expecting outcomes and impacts? Well, the expecting outcome would be higher levels of use of active mobility in target demo cities. It's easy. The solutions will be safe, inclusive, and environmentally sustainable. Changes, of course. Well, the solutions would provide opportunities for direct and indirect business growth, skills acquisition, and job creation. So remember that we are talking about a call in this area of 1 million euros, and for each proposal, more or less 200,000 euros per each proposal. So what is very important is also the social impact would be healthier, cleaner transport with lower incidence of accidents, and higher safety levels when using active mobility. So the environmental impacts are reduced green gas emissions, better use of public spaces, and more livable urban areas. Well, the expecting outcome and impacts are, last but not least, what we are searching for our cities. Some examples, as João Mira said in the previous presentation, here we have some examples, but they are not the only ones that we can search for or that we can implement. For example, implementation or improvement of e-bike sharing, provide innovative design and infrastructure measures, thus ensuring direct and continuous infrastructure connections, configurable street setups, curb design, separation from motorized vehicle traffic, adequate signalization, lighting and parking, increase safety and empowerment of vulnerable users, solutions for motor assistance for active mobility in hilly areas, building product solutions that accelerate modal shift to active mobility, of course, including community or active last mile logistics. It's very, very, very interesting, and this is a very good opportunity. Also, the creation of mid-long distance walking infrastructure, both within denser urban areas and connecting urban areas to peripheral city areas. For a better shift between jobs and housing and so on, and also design more attractive and usable mobility infrastructure, resolve intermodal challenge for active users of public transport, provide dynamic wayfind solutions to make the infrastructure understandable and also accessible. And well, we have here only 9 examples of activity. Of course, this is not close to this or what I said, but of course we can create, and so we can make some innovation about other activities that maybe for the next call, maybe also an examples of activities for other users. So thank you very much, and that is all for this area.
Thank you so much, George. We don't have any questions so far. I don't know if you have any questions you would like to put regarding active mobility.
Of course, just to add, of course, as said, as wrote Reza Arani in the previous comment, it's necessary to visit the document with more, well, not more concentration, but we have there a more complete explanation about this subject.
So we have here one general question from Luis about having a small networking session after. Today, we will not have a networking session after, but there are several of them being promoted by EIT Urban Mobility Director. We will send you the information on how can you go to these networking sessions, but as well, if you need connections with any one of the participants today here, you can get in contact with us and we will do. And also Luis expressed interest that they are interested in doing a proposal for active mobility. So Luis, if you need any connections or any support from any of the partners here today, please let us know. And now one question to George. Can schools be eligible entities?
I suppose so. Well, the EIT has in the past a very interesting project about this, about the involvement of schools, and of course it is possible if it is eligible in the scope of this activity. Of course, the schools can be eligible. Not only grammar schools, but also everything, but also universities and so on. Yes, it is possible. Well, Lucius wrote that that is interested in submitting a proposal within active mobility. So if you please, you can contact, for example, BGI, Claudia, that will redirect you for the right side.
Yes, we also have another question from Vana Brito. That is, the call is open until 28th of April. Is it possible to prepare a proposal in such a short time? Maybe here I can give you some information. If you're used to calls from Portugal 2020 or Horizon 2020, they are very bureaucratic. You'll have a lot of documentation to submit. This call is nothing compared to this, okay? You will have only one form. The form is very focused and you will not have a lot of space to write your answers. So it's very limited on characters. So the main goal of the form is really to be on point and have a clear information about the project. And you will need only the form. So you don't need any extra documentation more than the form. So in terms of preparing the proposal, it is possible. We know there's not a lot of time, but it is possible to do this proposal because the form, you will take around maximum 10 pages maximum. And in order to prepare for the consortium, you can contact us, and we will also put you in connection with partners that express interest, or you can also contact here on the chat with other partners that express interest. But in terms of the preparation of the calls and what you have to deliver, it is possible to deliver in 2 weeks everything that you need to deliver these proposals. When is the next call? So the calls from EIT Urban Mobility are annual. So this call that you're preparing, it is for 2023, and the ones for 2024 will only open next year. Okay, so everything is annually. These calls are more specific on innovation, but there will also be calls launched this week about academia. So if you're more interested, you can propose to both. Okay, this is not a barrier for your proposal. But if you have also some ideas on more academia projects, these calls are also going to open. But these ones of innovation is annual, and they will only open next year, again in April. Okay. So now, since we don't have more questions, I will pass to the next challenge area, sustainable city logistics. There's also here connected with this comment from Rui Abrantes about last mile logistics. So I'll pass the word now to João Mira from Thales to present you.
Sorry, Claudia, we have another comment from Rui Abrantes.
Yes, yes. So this is the way I was saying that is connected to the next area that we are going to present right now.
Oh, I'm back again. Let me just okay. So city logistics. This is an interesting but tricky topic. Just looking at the challenges, not even reading what is in the text, everyone has the experience of living in an urban area and having to deal with different problems dealing with logistics. Logistics is not only what we see that Luís Simões and the big truckers carry from point to point. It also deals with the small distribution to groceries, to pharmacies, taking goods for the little shoppings and to the little shopping markets, supermarkets, or everything that deals with carrying goods, even Ubers and Glovos and other carriers like that. On occasions, they create a lot of problems to whoever doesn't need them at the moment. Now, getting back to the specific challenge as it is written, there are a significant number of problems caused by freight in general, which have negative impacts over the livability of the cities and the citizens. And among the different problems they create are the pollution, air and noise, gas emissions, blocking of the living areas, and at a different level, the large number of accidents, including deadly accidents with deadly influence. Another issue that needs to be taken in consideration is that to move goods in the city, if it's yourself individually, you can just carry them. But if you act as a mover, there are also legislation and rules to be applied, to be compliant with, and that needs to be taken in consideration. So innovation in city logistics or in urban logistics should bear in mind that it should be more sustainable, eventually use cooperation between the different stakeholders, including the individual users or small shops or small businesses, possibly using new vehicles and clearly new business models. This could be all, or should be all, supported on technologies that are enablers for the development of the possible solutions. What are the expected outcomes? Of course, it's to reduce the impact of the challenges that we have seen, improve the operation of urban logistics, so make them more efficient, reducing the impacts that they have, includes new vehicle designs or adaptation of vehicle designs. I will not even give any suggestion because probably already thought about this in different occasions, to improve the environment conditions. It could include the use of air as a possible carrier of goods, changing behaviors or mindsets, using new technologies or adapting new technologies to logistics, and the solutions should be low carbon, so less emissions, accessible to the widest possible range of users, efficient, clean, and safe. For example, we all know that bikes and motorbikes sometimes are not very safe. They are not necessarily unsafe, but they create on occasions unsafe environments for the other city dwellers. Some, again, as in the previous slot, some examples of ways to deal with the challenges. Reduce the last mile freight, the volume, the frequency, the number of vehicles, even the type of vehicles. This reduces pollution. To use, for example, freight hubs or smaller freight hubs for drop off, drop on. Community brokerage. Commercial logistic brokerage, data sharing. If the information is available, it's easier for different stakeholders to bring aboard and to deal with the logistics distribution on a more efficient model. Have collaborative logistics model, which is linked to the previous phrase I have. Propose new and innovative logistics solutions in the urban environments. Reduce logistics or reduce the load on city centers, including historic city centers. Reduce freight demand and waste management by improving local production and distribution. So the management of this would give an improvement on the logistics in the city. When we say city, let's not say city, let's change it to urban spaces, not necessarily on the cities and the big ones. Enforcement of freight demand and create some rules to reduce the problems they create to the urban environments. Optimization of routes, reduction of emissions. All this is based on some cases on processes, models, business models, and some of the solutions may be based on technologies. Just because in some of these phrases it's referred new vehicles, it doesn't mean that you need to build necessarily something to propose a solution. And in relation to city logistics, I think that's it. I'm sure there are a lot of questions in relation to city logistics because it's not a straightforward topic, but there is a lot that can be proposed and done under this.
Thank you, João. We have here a comment from Rita saying they are interested in submitting proposals. So if you want to reach out to Rita, she shared her contact on the chat. I don't know if you have any specific questions about this area. We have nice topics and opportunities as a comment. Okay, so I believe there's no question. I think it's a lot of information for everyone, so they are just getting the main key points. So we'll pass now to the last presentation about the last challenge area, mobility and energy, and then we will have the closing session. So in terms of mobility and energy, the main challenge that we have here is that the transport sector in Europe is over 90% fossil fuel dependent. And based on the current world situation, context that we are living with the war, you can see that this is a real problem, right? We already know this, but now we can see all the applications they have, not only in terms of mobility, but also in our daily life. So this is a huge challenge for mobility, and there's a need for cleaner fuel propulsion solutions. It requires new vehicle charging, refueling supply, as well as demand for the fuel. So the expected outcomes, so the results that should come out of this project in this area, it will be the increased use of cleaner fuel vehicles in 2 or more European cities. Alignment is expected with national and European policy on cleaner fuels. So here you have that it's expected that this solution to be scalable, to be at least implemented at 2 or more European cities. So you should consider this when you're writing your proposal inside your consortium. And the expected impact will be reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, increased quality of life in urban areas, and better use of urban space. And here you also have the KPIs that you should have on your project for option B and for option 1. So these are the minimum targets. That is market innovation. So innovations demonstrated in a market, demonstration of a pilot, okay, with that involves citizens or local associations, and this should be acquired in partnership with a European city. And as well, it should be created at least one startup on option B from this pilot that is going to be created. We also have here some examples of activities that you can consider. So demonstration of smart grids, microgrid energy infrastructure with green energy production for all types of vehicles of the future. And as well, implement and test charging of innovation cable-less solutions for all mobility vehicles, accelerates the use of solutions that speed up the decarbonization of public transport, implementing innovative product services that increase demand for zero-emission vehicles, showing a clear take-up of vehicles in fleet, and as well innovative cooperation models and new business models for charging solutions to test new load balancing techniques, fast and slow charging solutions, and behavioral incentives. So you can see there's a mix here between personal use, let's say, of transport and public use of transport, and your proposal can be fitted in one of these areas. And here are some examples that they are looking for, but your proposal don't necessarily need to be according to one of these examples, just to give you, let's say, awareness of what has been funded as well from EIT Urban Mobility in the past, that you can have as a guideline for the future. And this was my 2 slides. I know that this is a topic that is very, let's say, that everyone has a bit of awareness, but more especially now because of the contest that we are having in the world. So this was, so I would like to ask if you have any questions regarding this specific area, please let me know, and we can answer right now as well. We also have Carla Ribeiro that made a comment that if anyone is interested in a partner from construction sector, please reach out to Carla, and here it is her email. To Katia, sorry. I don't know if we have any more questions. Van de Brito is also probably interested in doing a proposal in mobility and energy. Okay, so if there is no more questions, I think it was a lot of information that we passed to you. That's why we are recording everything, and we will send you everything in the end of this event. We would just like to say thank you for coming here, for your interest, for your availability, not only on EIT Urban Mobility, but also in the hub in Portugal. You will have all our contacts in case you want to reach out to each one of the partners, specifically for these calls of proposals, but as well for the activities of the hub, as you can explore services and products to be implemented with the hub in Portugal. And if you have any requirements, let's say any support that you need from the hub, please let us know. I would also like to tell that as a hub, we also participate in several consortiums, in several proposals. So we are also interested in knowing more about you and what kind of consortiums we can support you with, making these connections or collaborating directly with the hub. And also to tell that in these proposals, the last tip that I have is that it's easier to be funded when you have a partner of EIT Urban Mobility in your consortium. So an entity that already works with EIT Urban Mobility and knows the structure, the flow of the process, to engage with us, and also the partners of EIT Urban Mobility to make sure that your evaluation will be higher on the proposal. I would just like to answer the last question from Luis. So my last question for liquidity, if accepted, will we get the funding before paying the membership fee? Yes, you will. Okay. So you first receive a letter of support saying you're getting the proposal accepted. Then the funding scheme it's a bit different in each one of the projects, but I would say that you receive normally half of the budget in the beginning of the contract when you sign the contract, and then you will have time to pay the membership fee with the budget if you intend to do so. And so thank you so much for everyone to join with us. We are going to share everything with you. Also, when we have other events of EIT Urban Mobility in Portugal, we will let you know in case you want to come. We hope to have one physically so we can all meet each other. So thank you, everyone. Have a nice day, and it was a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Okay.